Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a revisit on a game called Six-Sided Sanctuary. You may remember I actually covered this one all the way back in September 2012, so it's actually been about a year since I've actually looked at this one. It's a pretty cool premise, and it's one that when I looked at it was still in early alpha. The game is now in full release. It is totally done, well, although I think it's still being improved upon and added stuff too, but in case you missed it the first time around, I thought it would be worth to go over some of the things that may have changed, or at least I'll do my best to remember the things that have changed, and give the game a little run through, at least to the best of my ability. As you may have noticed, a little trend lately of me playing a bunch of puzzle games, and this is one of those, and I'm not always the best at them, but I definitely enjoy them, and I can usually spot a pretty entertaining premise. So let's look at the options very briefly. We've got hint set to true. I think that is a good idea for me. Counter, I guess probably how many steps you've made. Set to false. Lighting, FPS, music, true. Okay, it's all good. Seems like that's all set up. And then we just got our controls, which are fairly basic. And camera controls, which I need to actually take note of, WASD. Okay, so we've got basically like a dual analog controller set up only on the keyboard. Alright, so that looks good. Confirm and cancel are X and C, and restart is R, so I just got to keep that in mind. And then we're back on the title screen. So the premise of this game is essentially, and I'll just go over this as if you hadn't seen the first video, or, you know, if you haven't, go ahead and watch it, and come on back, but, you know, if not, regardless, still pretty fairly accessible. The premise is you are a cube, and you're going to roll around a 3D environment looking for panels with various attributes or properties, which will allow you to traverse the environment. So let's start it up, and I'll see if this is a thing I can handle. Alright, so tutorial, X to play. Got it. Alright, move with the arrow keys. Nice and smooth looking. Everything looks lovely. The one thing that I had as far as a criticism back in the day when I first had tried this was that I felt that the art style was not fully developed quite yet. And I think now things are looking a lot more finished. Alright, so here's the deal. See this peg here? I can only step on it if the wood part of my block is facing down like that. Otherwise, I would fall right through. And in this case, I had to do a little bit of rotation to get that to be the way things are. So in this case, this steam vent seems to shoot me up. The environment is as important as you. And that little lift is going to carry me up. And there's a, you know, a simple art aesthetic to it, and I think the concept carries it the rest of the way, and the music really rounds things out. There's a really nice soundtrack to this, I have to say. Hit shift to see what? I don't know what that said. I'll hit, oh, okay. That shows you what the triggers are. If I can push crates, that's going to open the door. And now wood floats. Alright, so we're going to push this in, I guess. Okay, so I want to make sure that I arrange things so that the wood part of my paneling ends up... Oh, this is... Okay, so the thing is I'm terrible at arranging the block to get the wood part to be where I want it to be. And in this case, if I were to fall in here, well, let's just see. Oh, well, I just fall and I can still move around. But I can't really get back out, so I need to press R to restart. And I guess that's sort of to teach me that element. Oh, there is actually a little steam vent under there. That's a nice touch. I wouldn't have even noticed that. So, what's going on here? We've got another block we can push. Pushing crates off the edge resets them. Okay, perfect. Now we know. And we'll just head on to the finish line. So in case you are wondering, this game is available for purchase right now. You can go ahead and grab it. Anything in here that's gonna... Okay, there is another steam vent. Oh, okay, this is a level select, I get it. Yep, so you can grab this game right now if this premise intrigues you, and I think there are quite a few levels, actually. We're looking at 25 levels, original soundtrack, and free DLC, so when the game gets improved upon, there is still more to see and do. And the levels are not necessarily particularly short, so it's going to take you maybe a little while to figure out and then be able to traverse some of these puzzles. Alright, there we go. So I've got, like, many of the sides of my... all but one of the sides of my block now have something on them. So we need to make sure that when we arrange this, we don't end up with the hollow side facing that way, which is exactly what happens. So when that happens, you fall through and you lose. Thought it'd be worth showing anyway, because I haven't actually done that yet. Yep, and we have to have the wood part on the bottom, otherwise I can't do a whole lot as far as that. It's a weird premise, because, like, I'm not usually used to thinking in this particular way. I mean, my mind doesn't necessarily work in, like, thinking that far ahead. But I think once you start to get the hang of it, maybe after you've played this for quite a while, you start to understand exactly what you need to do to make those shifts happen. And right now, I'm still at this stage, and even having played this once before, I'm still at the stage where it's like, it's not quite there for me. but I'm totally open to working at it a bit. Alright, so now, how does this work? So I'm going to go down this. This is totally fine, but then once I want to go this way, that's not going to happen. So I need to get the hollow part of the block facing the other direction, if I'm not mistaken. How can I do that, though? Where even is the hollow part? I've lost it. I guess it's on the bottom, then. So then we want to go... I don't know, not like that. I find it's a little bit of trial and error when you're first starting out, which, you know, not always the worst thing. But when you get easily frustrated by premises such as this... Alright, there we go. That's what I needed to do. Then, yeah, that can wear you down a little bit. There we go. Push that in place, and what was it? Shift shows me that it's opened the gate to the exit. So now I need to rotate around until I'm good to go again. Where is the bottom again? Okay, so it's there. It's, or you could just pick the wrong direction and screw that stage entirely for that reason. This is actually the same level that I remember playing and was actually able to beat a long time back when I had tried this a year ago. But it's nice to see it with, you know, a new coat of paint. Things are looking more refined, and I'll just continuously apparently fall into that pond for whatever reason. Let's just get this sorted. I think this should not be all that difficult. This is like the second level, but that's not to say that the game is not to some degree a little bit hardcore, and I don't know why I keep picking the wrong angle there to move at. Alright, let's get this. I think what it is because you can control the camera and the block moving independently. If you don't pay really close attention, you end up thinking you're still defaulted to a different direction. And I think that's actually where I was supposed to be. Although, okay, now that I have to do that, that's not the case anymore. So I need to get it so when I'm on that spot, things are still facing to the side. And that's not how I do it. Okay, so if I do that a bunch of times, I end up in that same position. I need a few mechanisms. This is like solving a Rubik's Cube at times. I need to know the ways that you are to, like, redirect and remanipulate the cube. And I'm not quite there. Oh, jeez. Alright, well, how about this? Why don't I make a little cut, and then we'll come back when I've solved this level, and then we'll move on to the next level and see what that looks like. There's supposed to be hints in this. I haven't actually seen any yet, but maybe I just haven't gotten to a level that's hard enough that I think I deserve them, or that the game thinks I deserve them anyway. So yeah, half of my mistakes are because I'm super dumb and I just keep making stupid movements. The other half are because I just am not planning far enough ahead here. So yeah, I'll catch you after the break, and we'll take on the next thing. Alright, looks like I've actually finally done it, and it's really a silly thing that I keep getting stuck, because really all I need to be doing is, when I can't find the right orientation, I just need to keep spinning the cube into a circle for a minute until things finally do line up. So I think I've got that all sorted out. Let's just not fall off the edges now and then cap off this horrible performance. So, okay. We finished that. My best time is not particularly great. It should be mentioned, of course, puzzle games, I believe anyway, should be pretty difficult. Because if they're not, well, you don't really get that sense of reward when you finish them, you know? It's more just self-gratification in that case. It's not really like you're really getting anywhere, you know? You put time in, you don't necessarily learn. So I like games that are hard, and I think it definitely comes across in most of the things that I play. And then just because I can't play them necessarily on camera while I'm speaking on them, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm still not enjoying myself. I should have mentioned, of course, there is a hub world, which is a thing that we didn't even have in the old version. I think that's a really lovely way to transition between levels. So this world is going to involve me pushing some boxes around. And I'm not sure where I'm supposed to push them quite yet, but we are going to figure that out at some point. Let's press R and restart, because I've already messed that up. Alright, so we've got to get this cube that is over there to sit in the proper position between that and that. So what's the best way to do that? Well, I think we can push it here, but then what? I can't really do much else with it. What if I just push it off? Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so let's push it, and I've actually solved this before, so it's a little sad that I can't remember even what the solution was. And then we'll push this over here, we'll go up to the other side. It's like every step of each puzzle seems like it's, the lengths were taken to go as far as you can to make things a little bit more difficult, which is fine, but I also think that to some degree it's also kind of a good idea to step in a little bit slowly with the learning curve, which is not necessarily what I think was done here. I think this game starts out pretty hard right off the bat, so that is just something to keep in mind, like if you're into that style of gameplay or not. It might not be for everybody, but you know, I think there's a lot of people that are definitely into hardcore puzzle games. So what do I want to do here? I need to get these blocks back out so we can cross over to the finish line, right? So how am I going to do that without knocking them into that pit? And why do I even want to be up here necessarily? There's got to be a reason. Well, I need to do some science first, right? So I need to figure out what's up with when I push one of these blocks into one of these geyser spots. Okay, it's just going to fill that in. So now I know, which should allow me to hopefully be able to push the other one back over here, right? Because I only need one block, provided I have the other piece of wood lined up so I can actually cross the water successfully. So there's a bit of thinking ahead involved, and I think that's totally cool. And I think now I'm starting to understand why I needed to be on the other side of things, because I need to push that out of that gap. I almost feel like this level is almost a little easier than the other one, because your goal seems a little more directed. Although, oh, did I mess it up? I think I needed to use it. No, that wouldn't have made sense. I was going to say I needed to use it to cross over to the left side, but yeah, I can't really do much with that anyway. Is there a way I can get another geyser that would let me back there? I don't think so. And I can only push it on top of this geyser and then off. Oh, I can reset the block, so that actually would help. So at least I don't have to reset the whole level then. So what am I going to do with this? What if I push it all the way around, like over here, and then we do some of this? Yeah, okay, that's a little bit more sensible, isn't it? Alright, so now that's fallen down. All I need to do is make sure that when I fall off of here, I need to make sure that the next tile is going to land in the right place. And I think if I fall here, then, yep, that'll do it, right? So then I go here, and then that's to the goal. Hey, that actually went fairly smoothly, amazingly enough. Let's try a much harder level, if that's something I can do. I think I can actually jump to any level I want, right? There's not really a sequence. What's going on here? I can't go... Oh, I can't go down that path until I've completed that one, it looks like. So some areas are actually blocked off, which I guess that's fine. And I can't touch this road either. What do I do if I... Okay, so just fall off, and then I'll just reset back to the beginning. So it's a level leading to other levels, leading to other levels. And now the branching paths is I can go that way or this way, which actually is quite a sensible thing to do when you might be dealing with a particularly difficult set of challenges. I think having the ability to let the player choose a little bit is going to help you out when you get stuck in a jam. Alright, so that lift's going to take me back up. One thing that I thought would have been kind of cool is since a lot of these blocks... Oh, these panels prevent you from falling while they're on the bottom. That's cool. So they're like sky hover pads. One thing that I think would have been kind of a cool option is to let players choose from a number of different like floor tiles or texture sets. Now, I'm not sure if maybe that's something that might even end up being added, but I just think since the textures seem somewhat modular and there's a lot of the same ones and the levels seem to be primarily built from the same concepts, that maybe, you know, mixing up the art assets could be kind of neat. Just an idea, though. You know, it could be kind of like you get a community based around custom tile sets, I think. Yeah, I don't know. That's just me, maybe, that loves that kind of stuff, but I'm a sucker for it. What can I say? I guess I need to fall and rebound until I find the right orientation here. What's that gonna be, though? Oh, that is not the correct one. I know that much. And the music seems to have gotten a little crazy in this level, which is kind of cool. I do enjoy a pretty wild soundtrack, and so far I've enjoyed all of the music that's come with this. That is not how I do that. What if I go here? No, I get one movement. Oh, that's wild. So you actually can totally just cross the entire world, like wherever you can go, as long as you have enough of those panels or tiles on enough of the size of your cube. That does definitely change the scope of how I'm looking at this. So I guess I need to rotate the block until I'm in the right orientation that I can cross. This is only going to give me 3, which is not enough. Right, I'm going to fall right before here, which is not what I need to do. There's not really a way for me to reorganize that setup. Unless I just keep falling until I find the right path. I mean, maybe that would actually happen, right? I need the hollow part to be at the bottom on the last tile of this, and it doesn't seem to be a thing that will ever happen, because I seem to have found some sort of stasis where I'm just going to keep following the same repetitive path until I break out of it somehow. So what if I do something like... I don't think that actually did anything. Poe must be a master, though, of understanding how this block moves in three-dimensional space. I am absolutely not. As if that is something I needed to actually ever say. I think my actions have proved that to be very obvious. So I know what I need to do. I need to get the block across this gap to this point where I can then go up a level. And hopefully that would take me to wherever I need to go to then unlock this door and then go that way and, you know, henceforth solve the puzzle. Now what if I go back to... Can I go back to the level select? I can hit R. No, escape doesn't seem to do anything. Alright, well I guess we're here for now. You know, I clearly need to get that block over there, and this is going to involve me crossing this gap. So I'm pretty sure this is the only way to go. As much as this level does look a little bit like it might be open-ended, I don't think that is the case here. What if I... Oh, I'm so bad at this. So sorry. I know it's not the easiest game. Is this gonna be... No, I keep falling back to the same positioning every single time. Alright, well, I'm starting to feel like I'm going to bring shame to the developer if I continue to go down this path. I'm wondering also if maybe falling on it was the wrong thing, like maybe I've already sabotaged my run by falling straight off. Maybe I was supposed to come at those tiles from a different angle, because otherwise I might be locked in a pattern of doing this over and over again. And I think the thing that's also making it a little difficult is, unlike a platformer where you have a very discrete, like, differentiation of the space that you're moving through, in this game, every movement you make almost feels like it has no consequence, right? So, like, we're going from this grass tile to this grass tile to this grass tile, then we fall, or in this case, we hover. But in a platformer, you might actually see, well, okay, we have to take 2 steps, we land on this tile, we jump, we go to this this other tile, it's got, like, some sort of structure on it. You know, you start to map out exactly what your hands need to do to find the path through, and make sort of a linear progression out of things. In this case, the amount of options that the player has, it almost feels nearly infinite. So making a mistake, or, like, finding your way through the path on your first try is probably not going to be very obvious. You can't really sight read this until you have mastery of your ability to control this block, right? So I think the first thing that needs to be done, if you're to properly, really, you know, get the most out of this puzzle experience, is to really get how to control this block. And I'm not sure that the tutorial necessarily did that justice, in my opinion anyway. It might need a little bit more, at least, you know, for people who are a little dense like me. Maybe people who pick up on this concept right away don't have this problem, but, you know, I guess I've demonstrated I'm not one of those people. So, not that there's any points off. I think for people who do get it right away, this is probably very gratifying. In my case, it feels a little bit more trial and error. But don't let that dissuade you. I think there is definitely some cool ground to mine here, and I'd love to see what the other concepts are as I get further in. And I'd like to see what other directions we can take this concept to as far as platforming or traversal mechanics. So I guess with that, I will wrap up the episode. I know this has been a little tough to watch because I just am so bad at this. But I think the experience has been, you know, work at it, get better. From everybody I've talked to, it's a pretty rewarding experience. You just got to give it some time and practice and hopefully wrap your mind around the concept. So again, I will remind you, if you want to go check out this game, it is available right now. You can go ahead and click on the link in the description to go grab a copy yourself. Like I said, you get the 25 levels, a soundtrack, and then any add-ons or DLC. There is also a Greenlight campaign. If you'd like to show your support and try and get this brought over to Steam, it would be a huge help to the developer, and I would definitely recommend that you do that if you enjoy the concept at hand. But, you know, links are going to be in the description. Click with what you need to click on, and hopefully the word will get spread like that. So, again, if you're enjoying the series, make sure you check out the other stuff in the description, too. I've got all my social media links. Indie-impressions.com is my website. If you want to head on over there, over 500 other games that you can check out in the series. Preview some other ones, see what maybe you're interested in. I've got all sorts of tags and categories to sort them by. And I know this is just silly, I just keep wandering back and forth with this cube, and I don't seem to be finding any resolution. I should probably try a different path to maybe pick up some of these blocks and see if maybe I can come up with a concept. Now I've put them all in, like, a corner, right? No, they're still in the same line. I don't know what I'm doing, man. One day I'll figure it out. But yeah, check out the website, check out my other social media. show your support. If you're enjoying the series, of course, leave a like on the video if you think it deserves one. Any comments are always welcome. If you enjoyed this game yourself, or you enjoy the concept, or you'd like to leave any critiques or criticisms for the show, as well as my gameplay, I'm sure you'll have your opinions there. Feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Oh, and it looks like I finally made it. And now I can bounce over to this platform. Look at that, last freaking moment, I go ahead and make it across. Not that that means I'm going to be making any more progress, because I don't know really what to do with this now. I need to get behind the cube and then push it onto that block, and since I don't seem to have the ability to orient my cube in a way that lets me grab one of these blocks on the next movement, I don't know what to do with it. So I guess we will wrap up the episode for realsies then. So thank you everybody for watching. Make sure you come back again tomorrow. New episodes are every single day without fail. Like I said earlier, over 500 consecutive episodes and still running, so hopefully you'll come back again and find out about even more awesome indie games. So thanks for joining us, and I will see you tomorrow.